Yep, they need to make a way that you can fade out that music. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta check something because I'm gonna double check my settings here. Last time I streamed, I was using the wrong mic. Okay, I'm using the right mic this time. Yay! Yay! Okay, let me set a few things up because it wouldn't be one of my streams if everything was set up right ahead of time. Actually, I started late. That's my own fault. Can't blame anyone but myself for this one. Okay. Okay. Almost there. Okay, we're good. I think I got it worked out now. Make sure everything is. I got sound going? Yeah, I got sound going. Okay. Good. That means everything is working. There we go. Everything's working. That's a good thing. Everything's on. Everything's working. Perfect. Oh, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a good day today. Welcome to the live stream. We're just going to sit and screw around for a little bit while we wait for people to come in. Let me send out a message or two. Some places. Hopefully we can get some people in here. Send a message out to Mastodon. Let everybody there know what's going on. Someone earlier, I put okay, hold on. Put a post out today on Mastodon, just saying if anybody's feeling down, hit me up and I'll try to cheer you up and give you a little remedy. Someone hit me up and said that they're afraid that their relationship isn't as healthy as they thought it would be. And my advice, my remedy was to, trust your feelings, center yourself, and then talk to your partner about it. That's something that I learned from my girlfriend when we first started dating 11 years ago. And because the first thing that she demanded of me was that I be my authentic, true self. That I don't put on airs, that I don't try to impress her, that I be completely honest, and that I don't bullshit. I just be myself. And that when I feel I need to talk, I talk. When I'm upset, that I express it. Things like that. So she demanded this. It's almost absolute honesty and candor. And I immediately took to it because I had just come out of a relationship, a marriage of like 17 years where I didn't have that. And so I jumped all over that like you wouldn't believe, like a flea onto a dog. And I've held to that because she and I have a great relationship. And I think that a lot of it is due to that attitude, is due to that trust in each other's love for each other. And an understanding that we may be on different, planes or paths or however you want to say it at different times in our relationship. But if we talk to each other, if we align ourselves with how the other is feeling and thinking, and most of all, we insist on, helping each other and supporting each other, no matter what, we've come out strong every time. I can tell you honestly, in the 11 years that we've been together, we have probably had, and I'm talking like straight arguments, like really, really harsh arguments, 4 times in 11 years. I'm not saying like knock down, drag out, nothing physical, just verbal, just very like, okay, we need to step away from each other. And it's because we talk to her. And even then, when we have those discussions, when we have those arguments, we come back to each other, later on, and we talk and we listen to each other and we work out the situation because we have a genuine love and appreciation for each other that we want to keep and fulfill in our lives. And because of that, we have this beautiful, loving relationship where we just help each other. We support each other in every way that we can. And it's just wonderful. So that's why I gave the advice that I did to open up, be honest with the person that you're with. Always be honest with the person that you're with, your partner. Always let them know how you feel. Because if you don't, if you're afraid to talk about those things, if you're afraid to move forward, what eventually will happen is that you will start to build up resentment against each other. Because that's what resentment is. It's resentment a lot of the times, not every time, but I'm 75% of the time, resentment comes from unresolved things that haven't been spoken about. Sometimes we talk about these things with the other person, our partner, and they don't fulfill their end of the bargain. We start resenting them for that. But it's usually because we're not talking about how upset that they're not fulfilling their part of the bargain. That's what I learned in therapy. Resentment, at least for me, comes from leaving things unresolved, not speaking your truth, not talking about the way that you feel. And being honest, being candid with each other, being, forthright with each other at all times is really the only way to get around that. It's the only way to beat that. And I'm appreciative of the relationship that I have. And if I can pass that on to other people, that simple bit of information that you would think would be obvious, right? You think that it would be understandable by everybody, but you'd be surprised that it's not. And that can be difficult. That can be really difficult for some people. So for that person, if they're watching right now or listening or they see this later on a clip, I hope that things got worked out. I hope you were able to talk to your partner. And I hope that you find some joy and happiness in your life today. But that's the that's the start of this theme. This show today. I hope everybody's out there is doing okay. I hope that you're all doing fine. Ugh. It's trying to think what's been going on for me this week. Not like a lot. Like, some good things and everything, but not a lot's been really happening for me this week. It's just been a good week. I mean, it's only Tuesday. I'm talking about from let's say over the weekend. The weekend was uneventful. Tam came down with a cold on Sunday or Monday, and she's trying to push her way through that. She had herself, took a COVID test to make sure it wasn't COVID. Well, it's not COVID. Happy about that. But yeah, just trying to move forward every day, right? Just enjoying the weekend, just making the best out of it. But didn't do anything. I didn't even think I left the house. I think the next time I'll leave the house will be this Wednesday for a doctor's appointment. I don't get out as much as I'd like to. I don't have any transportation. If I had some transportation, maybe I would, but I don't, so I can't. It is. Just a second, please. There we go. Okay. That was bugging me. See, oh, this side. This over here. Okay. This thing was going out of frame. Some things just cannot remain. I think what else is going on? Sounds like the writer's strike is coming to an end. That's wonderful. I hope it does. I hope they reach an agreement. And I hope the actors reach an agreement. And then I hope we start seeing things in production again. The girlfriend and I have started to watch the One Piece anime. And we know we got a long road ahead of us. It's like I told her, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. We'll finish it in about 5 or 6 years, I'm sure. I heard that if they stopped making episodes today, that it would take you 3.5 years if you watched 5 episodes a day to catch up. So I told her it's going to take us like 10. But I think she's liking it. I think she's liking the show. We're having fun with it. And if you're watching on PeerTube, Twitch, or YouTube right now, if you just happen to come on in, hey, consider asking how to be a guest. Yeah, that's right. We take guests live. You can do it straight from your phone or your PC. If you have something you want to share, if you want to talk about something, as long as it's not political or religious, I'm happy to talk to you about it. What's up, Wolfman? Wolf, buddy, how you doing? Glad to see you here as always, bud. Hope you had a good weekend. And I hope you had a good strong end. Whatever the hell that means. Oh, did you do any haunts this weekend? I forgot if you were doing anything. I think, did you say you were going to do some kind of a haunt or something this weekend? Last weekend? Or whatever, something like that. I can't remember what it was. You had a busy weekend, right? Busy weekend. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. That's what I thought. Doing the haunty stuff and all that other fun stuff. I finished excuse me, Plague Tale Requiem. And I wrote a little review about it, put it up on my blog, my new blog. Excuse me. Last week, I'd made the decision that I was going to get rid of my WordPress blog, MrFunkyDude.com, the one I advertise right down here. Don't worry, I'm still keeping the domain name, MrFunkyDude.com, but I'm doing something different with it. And, oh, there you are, Wolf. Hold on a second. Let me bring you in. Give me 1 second. There you go. Hey, there you are. You're here with us. How you doing, Wolf? Didn't see you down there. Now I totally forgot what I was talking about. I was distracted. It doesn't matter. I was talking about my website. I was talking about my website.
Yeah, you were talking about you changed your website, and my first thought is, dude, don't be making those kind of movies and putting them on the internet. Get a distributor.
No, you know what it is that I could never get the kind of engagement and views on my blog that I wanted to.
Right.
And the thing that I've come to determine is that I don't think people really go to websites like that anymore. They don't go to blogs as much as they used to, which
I've
is
never been a blog guy myself.
yeah,
Now, yours is one of the few that I have read if it was something that interested me. I'm not going to blow
right.
smoke if it was
No,
something
yeah,
that I didn't care about. I'm just like, meh, move on.
right,
Because, I mean, and this is me personally, I read so much during the day anyway
right,
that for entertainment, well, the last book that I've read for entertainment was the last Game of Thrones book when it came out.
right.
Because Disney bought Star Wars and I was buying all the expanded universe stuff, and they're like, those are no longer canon. I'm like, oh, there just went 20 years or more.
Right, yeah. The thing for me was that I mean, I had that website for years. It's still up. It'll be up until November. That's when, my deal with my host runs up.
Remember until November.
And I have never gotten the kind of engagement or views on there that I really wanted to. And
Well, yeah,
the thing was that all of my content, well, 75% of my content, between the pics, the videos, and the articles that I wrote, the pics and the videos all existed on other platforms already.
Right.
My pictures already existed on PixelFed, and my videos already existed two places, YouTube and PeerTube. Okay, so I was getting more engagement in those places than I was on my blog. So the question became, do I want to pay for it again? Do I want to, now that it's running up, do I want to pay for it and keep doing this another 2 years?
Right.
And it just didn't seem to make sense to me. So that was what I decided like last week. And I think I talked about it a bit last Friday. So over the weekend, the one thing I realized is that I didn't have any place to put my articles, right? The things that I've written up. So I've started moving my things that I've written over to another federated service like Mastodon and PeerTube and
Or Starfleet.
or what have you, that where I could put my writing. And what's really funny is that, like, I wrote my review for Plague Tale Requiem, the game I just finished. I wrote it yesterday and put it up yesterday morning. And within 24 hours, I had like over 200 hits on it.
Yeah.
That was more views on anything I've written than in the last year on my blog. Like, if there was like 3 or 4 things that I've written on my blog within the last year, I got more views on this article that I wrote on this other website than I ever did on my own website. So that to me just validated that I'm doing the right thing. That I'm shutting down my WordPress blog. And what I'm doing is I'm gonna turn MrFunkyDude.com. It'll point to a directory basically that will give you links.
Like a link tree.
Yeah, like a link tree, right? That will give people,
Spicy
like where
links
to
below.
go. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Spicy link on profile.
Right, exactly. And
But yeah, it's like I have most social medias. I get the most reactions off Tinder.
right.
That's a joke.
Oh, Tinder. I'm sorry, I got distracted by something there. Tinder, yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, me and Cammy were talking about that the other day. And I say, is like, if something ever happened to where one of us, we're done, or something happened to you, or I was single again, it's like, I don't think I would date. She's like, oh, that's so sweet. I was like, well, no, it's not that. I was like, just people are crazy.
Right.
And then you get, I mean, we all know there's crazy people everywhere. Anyway,
Sure,
that's not
yeah.
what I came up to talk about. You had asked about the haunt.
Yeah. Tell me about the haunt. How'd that go?
OMG.
Really good?
Yes.
That's great.
So I get there and I had to fight traffic, which, I mean, okay, Omaha traffic compared to LA traffic is a joke.
Right.
I mean, when our rush hour is like when it's dead where you're at. So we've already determined that you have as many people in your state as I do in your county as I do in my state. So
Yeah, right.
So, but there was also a wreck. And for some
Right.
reason, I don't know if it's just a Midwest thing, but when somebody's in an accident, everybody slows down and has to look. Is it like our morbid curiosity? We want to see blood and bone
Right.
and brain, the three B's.
Blood, bone, and brains. Could
I
very much
mean,
well be, yeah.
you know, I'm a horror guy, but I never want to see that kind of stuff real life because it means one that somebody's in pain, and
Yeah.
two, I might have to help fix it if nobody else is around.
Yeah. The burden of being a good person.
Well, it's not so much being a good person because I would try to help regardless. It's just I do have some of that knowledge. I already got the
Yeah.
bill if that's what you came for.
Are you, do you mind if I do laundry?
I'm done. Go ahead. Your mom's already done hers. All right. Sorry, administrative duties.
That's understandable.
No, he was just asking if the washing machine was clear. But for some reason, we have that morbid curiosity where we have to stop and stare. And like I said, I like helping people anyway, which is why I do what I do for a living. And with what medical knowledge I do have, it would almost be illegal for me to stop, or
Right.
for not to stop
Right.
and help.
Right.
Um, but
Well, if you can help, you
regardless,
always should. You know, that's
Right,
the thing.
right.
Yeah.
they had we have a 4-lane interstate, Interstate 80, that runs right through town. They had it down to 3 lanes. Okay, no
Right.
big deal. Well, it was backed up all the way around to one of the side interstates. I was stop and go traffic, the fastest going 20 to 30 miles an hour for about a mile and a half, just because people were stopping and staring.
Right.
I'm just like, come on, people. I got people to scare.
I don't
I
have
get
time
there.
for this.
I get there and get all dressed. I wear a black monk robe with a latex skull,
Right.
and it's got a hood. And so they're like, okay, we're going to put you in the cemetery. I'm like, all right. Now, my thing is, this is not my haunt.
Right.
This is not, I'm just a guest here. So
So you
Whoever's
go where you're
already
told.
there-
Yeah.
you take your spot and tell me where you're going to be, and I'm not going to jump in on your scare.
Right.
So basically, it put me to where I was just basically off to the side out of the graveyard, which was a waste of my costume.
Mhm.
But it was okay. I was not upset about it at all.
Right.
And I would just, these people were going through this tunnel that had like slats where it was only like a ½ inch in between each board or whatever.
Sure.
And I would jump out of a spot and not yell boo, because that's a big no-no, but I just jump out and growl. I did make the streak
Wait.
continues. One person
Wait a
already.
second. Wait. I got to stop you for a second. Are you telling me there's actually a rule against saying boo?
Mhm. It's cliche.
Yeah. No, I get it, but that just
There-
seems
there-
so.
I'll have
I
to
mean-
send you. I'll have to send you the PDF that I have.
My memory, what my mind, what my mind goes to is how many people in these haunts were saying boo to begin with when they started, that they
Right.
actually had to write it to make it a. Like, don't do that. Like, to me,
I'll
that's
have
hilarious.
I'll have to send you a PDF of, and it's basically like the Haunter's Bible.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it, but it's just
And,
funny to me.
Well, the streak does continue
Boo! Go
because I
ahead.
went out and went. Lady goes, "Oh my god, I just pissed a little." Gotcha, bitch. And Tyler, who runs Scurryface, when they show on Twitch, he'll play baseball sometimes, and when he strikes somebody out, he uses I think it's Dave Chappelle
Yeah.
little sounder as "Gotcha, bitch," and then it goes right into Macho Man going, "Ooh yeah," and then some
Oh,
goats go
yeah.
"Meh," at the end of it. This is important because I was telling my friend Thrasher, who is a representative of Scurryface, she's like, "Oh, pissed my pants a little bit," and I go, "Gotcha, bitch." He goes, "Ooh yeah," then I go, and he just looked at me and he busts out laughing because he knows, obviously.
Right.
Then we get to Saturday. Saturday was a little more interesting.
Okay.
I show up, and at first I was thinking I wasn't going to. Well, let me go back to Friday real quick.
All right.
This haunt that I'm chipping in at is unlike mine, because mine, okay, go to, like in my case, go to the hog shed is what it's called, but they either call it the hog shed or the butcher room.
Okay.
Okay. End of the night, they come through, say, we're done. All right, cool. Then we go.
Right.
So these guys, it's about the same size. It might even be a little bit smaller, but they've got it sectioned off into quadrants, which is important later.
Okay.
So you have your runners that are going around and be like, all right, why don't you go ahead and take a break? And then you go to where you put your costuming stuff on, and they have food for us.
Oh, nice.
I mean, it wasn't like elaborate. Like the first night, it was just meatballs because they didn't have any buns left.
What do they call it? Craft services?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was it's a trans individual, and I'm having a little bit of trouble dealing with that one because her name is Dan. And it's like, go by Danny.
Yeah. That's easier. That would
Yeah.
that would be a little confusing. Yeah.
She's very nice, but when I first met her, my first thought is, holy crap, it's the oldest daughter from Bob's Burgers in like 40 years. Because she looks just like her, and you can almost say, yeah, that'd be cool. Come on, Jimmy. You know, Tina, that's her name.
Tina, you're right.
Okay. So she apologizes and says, we don't have any buns. She goes, how many meatballs would you like? 3 or 4? I was like, well, I'm a grown boy. I'm growing out, so I need 4. They were tiny ones. Whatever.
Right.
I was thankful to have that because it was just enough of a snack to keep me going.
Right.
Because my home haunt is only open from dusk till about 10:30ish. This one was dusk until midnight.
Okay.
So I'm jumping out at people. Okay, cool. So I come home, and I didn't get home till almost 2:00 because I had to stop and get real food because there is an Arby's that's really close on my way home, and they do have the meats. But more importantly, they're the only place that's open 24 hours.
Okay.
So hopped in there, got some food, headed home. Got home, it was about 2:00 by the time I got to bed. And then, of course, my body says, hey, guess what? It's 6:30. Go ahead and get up.
Stupid body.
I'm like, dude, it's Saturday. He says, I don't care. So I was kind of dozing in and out, got up for good at 8, and I just felt rough. I basically felt like somebody had just thrown
Kicked
me
ya.
into one of them grinding machines and just ran me right through the ringer. I mean, there wasn't a part of my body that didn't hurt. My head was foggy. I couldn't, every movement was slow. And Cammie's like, are you all right? I was like, yep, haunt hangover. And she started laughing.
Oof.
And so the whole day I'm sitting there. I don't know if I want to go because, I'm not required. I'm
Right.
just going to get extra blah, blah, blah. And I was talking with Christian about it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I'm really going to go tonight as I'm packing my stuff to go.
I don't know if I'm going to go. Pack.
Right. So I get down there and get all dolled up again. And remember, I said they had quadrants.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they started calling off names, and they said our common first name, which I won't mention.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of sat there, and then I walked up on everybody else, and I asked her, I was like, Jackie, did you mean me? She says, yeah. I'm like, oh. I was like, you know that I'm on loan? She's like, yeah, you're from Sinister Sydney. I know. She goes, apparently we had to go through another little training on the radios. Apparently the young lady they had in my quadrant did not practice proper radio etiquette, what they prefer.
Okay. What was she doing?
I'm not exactly sure because I didn't ask, and it's not my business. It's not my haunt.
Sure. Yeah.
However, they did make a point to go over our safety rules again and our code words. Like, I mean, I could tell people here, it's not going to matter. If there's a security issue, you get on the radio and say glowworm. If there is some kind of issue that will potentially endanger lives, such as weather, environmental issue, you name it, you say Armageddon. We have an Armageddon in this area. We have a glowworm at the church. The suspect is wearing jeans, a black t-shirt, and a hat
Right.
heading towards the clown maze.
Right.
That's what they want you to do. She said, yeah, we had problems in that quadrant last night. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I told you guys whatever you need, but after next weekend, I'm not going to be here on the weekends. I'm only going to be
Right.
here on Thursdays. Okay, fine. So then not only do I get made captain of the quadrant for the night, then I get my own area to work. They put me in the church area, which is you walk down this fence and you do a 180-degree turn, and you're like in this forest area that looks like it was a church at one time. And then you see
Right.
a monk standing there with a skull face on.
Okay.
Now, the first half of the night, I was kicking ass.
Yeah.
They had a YouTube crew come in and I made them bow and worship the master. I don't know who the master was, but they bowed and worshiped. And I said, now go in eternal damnation or something like that.
Right.
Now, part of the problem is a lot of people couldn't hear me because I had a balaclava on under the mask and then the mask.
Right.
So I've got a voice changer thing here. I got to check to see if it'll work fine. But I was still getting the hits.
Right.
And then, like, even if people were just like, okay, whatever, I'd look at him and you're like this. I go, you. And they'd look at me as like, we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. I can't get them to get scared. I'm going to make them laugh. That's my rule.
Sure.
So they chuckled. Well, then there was somebody that came through, and there was a couple people I got a little bit aggressive with, kind of borderline.
Right.
Like I said I was a captain. A kid needed my walkie-talkie because apparently these walkie-talkies have radios on them, or not radios, flashlights.
Okay.
He needed the flashlight. I'm like, yeah, no problem. And I was walking back from the tunnel into the church, and there were some people there, and I'd scared them just by popping out.
Right.
And then the one guy goes, you look like a head eater. I go, you look like a nacho eater. Because he was a big boy.
Right.
He kind of, why'd you say that? And then there was another one that he was trying to be a smart ass, and I got him to bow, and I said, you're not worthy. Move on, dog, or peasant, or something like that.
Right.
And he goes, that hurt my feelings.
You're in the wrong place then.
Right? So, I'm being a little risque. I was trying to push it a little, but not too much, and I'd pull myself back. And then, I would tell people that, good, we're here for the worship or whatever, trying to think of a demonic type ritual, which they kind of threw me in an area that I didn't know anything about. And it kept playing the same church music. And I counted it because, what else am I going to do in between peoples?
Right.
Every 92 seconds, it'd go. And I'm like, what is he saying? Like, it's 4 hours of this shit.
Right.
So Thrasher comes by and he's relieving people. And he goes, I got to talk to you. We got a situation. I'm like, okay. And then he came back and I'm thinking, oh crap, did one of those people report me?
Right.
So at that point I start getting nervous, and then I start second guessing myself. The doubt came in, and there's a moral to this.
Yeah.
He came back and said, oh no, dude, I was just going to tell you I was going to come and get you for lunch. If there would have been an issue, we would have pulled you right away.
Right.
Okay, that's good to know because you messed up my mojo. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, brother. It's like, well, it's not your fault. It's kind of how I'm built.
Right.
So I went and ate, and then I went back. And when I went back, I had nothing. I couldn't get anybody to do anything.
Right.
So I'm like, crap.
Kinda
So the
lost
last
your
half
wind.
of the night sucked. However,
Yeah.
I tried a couple of different things. I used all the knowledge and advice that I've gotten from other haunters. The main one being, just throw shit on the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, why not? If you're bombing, that's the time to start experimenting.
Right. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And that's when a couple times I did the car extended warranty thing. There was a couple of other ones that I did, like just funny little sayings. Or like,
Right.
oh, I got one of them. I go, guess what? They're like, what? I go, I just saved up to 15% on my car insurance. Like, what? Just throwing in,
Right.
different shit. And then I got home about the same time Cammie was actually still up. And then got up the next day because Christian's birthday is in a couple of days. So we had a little get together with some family on yesterday or Sunday. And I told her, I helped her clean up. I was like, I'm done for the day. I was like, I can't hardly move.
Right.
Thinking is not on the agenda. I'm going to sit here and watch the Colts game. And that's what I'm going to do. It was like, when it's time to eat, I'll come sit at the table with y'all and eat. But, well, we're going to play cards later. I was like, go right ahead and do that.
You just weren't feeling it.
I'm not a big card player. They like to play canasta a lot.
Right.
I only play like euchre and poker and blackjack, and I haven't played blackjack and poker in decades.
Yeah.
And euchre, I probably haven't played in a couple of years, but I did play with them over the holidays. And she's like, have you ever played? No. Okay, well, we'll do a practice game. Okay. And then we started a real game, and I ended up winning. She's like, how do you? I was like, I'm good at cards. I just don't play them that much because it's not really my thing anymore.
Right.
Oh, I was like, yeah, I just suits and seeing how people lay and watching is like, I can almost count, but not quite. She started laughing. But I guess the moral of the story for Saturday is never stop believing in you and what you can do and your abilities, because the moment you do is when there's going to have problems. And that's what happened to me.
Sure.
And then also a co-moral is, and when you are bombing in it, something like that, just try anything. Try to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the worst that's going to happen is what happened to me. The owner walked through, and I was going to do something, but then I saw him and I froze, and my backup thing was, okay, I'll just stand there. And as they walk by, the last one walking by, I'll just go and start walking behind them because I had a long tunnel to deal with.
Right.
So I just walked behind them like nothing was going on. And then they turn around, oh my God. Well, the owner of the place came in with some other owners, and they're like, is that a real person? He goes, yeah. I'm like, thanks, Brian. He started laughing. He goes, nah. And I told him, I was like, dude, I froze. He's like, no excuse. I totally froze. I mean, everybody thinks that I'm this big veteran there. And it's like, dude, this is only my second year doing this stuff.
Right.
And that's what because when Jackie's like, oh, yeah, you're a veteran of this. I was like, yeah, I've only been doing this for 2 years. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, you've jumped right in because I've heard of you. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah. She goes, I've heard about you. Wolfman, he works out in Sinister Sydney.
Right.
Yeah, that's me. Wow, that's kind of cool.
You got a reputation going there.
Well, but at the same time, there's 3 people at Madness that are scurry face representatives.
Right.
So she probably heard from them.
Probably.
And also one of them that works there, Thrasher.
Fuck it, run with it.
He's the one I went to Oklahoma with last month. But yeah, and I was like, no, I've been doing that character Wolfman for about 10 years now, almost 11 years. I was like, but no, the rest of it, I was like, I just decided I wanted to haunt last year. She's like, cool. She goes, well, you'd seem more responsible. I was like, well,
I'm sure that I mean, look, I think what they're saying to you is that you take it seriously. Whereas probably a lot of people don't as much as you do, and they recognize that within you.
And also what she was saying is that the person that we had on the radio last night was not good and was just calling to be calling and just playing around with it. And when there were serious calls, one of the issues is when you have a walkie-talkie, you push the button down 1, 2.
Yeah.
All right. Ground control to Major Tom or whatever.
Right.
And then you release the button. They would hit the button and start talking immediately, and they'd miss the first half of it. Right. And she also knew that I was older as well, so that
Right.
probably helped. Because the young lady that did it, I mean, I think she'd be lucky if she's 21, and which most people that work at haunts, myself included, have some kind of an issue, which is why we do it. But she was a little bit out there herself.
Yeah.
But I mean, she was nice though, and that's all that mattered to me.
Well,
It just wasn't a good fit for her to be the captain of the quadrant.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, I get that. I'm like, I don't know why I didn't say this, but I'm thinking, I don't know why you picked her to begin with when you got this other dude that's been here and knows what's supposed to be done. He's the one that showed me that the walkie-talkie has a flashlight.
Right. There's better people for the job, you'd think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I am very impressed with how they organize it, because they've got it broken down into quadrants like that.
Yeah.
And then they've got like a craft service table to where then they have people that are running to go do breaks. And then they've got other people that, like the one kid, he would come by about every half hour and fill up the fog machine. And then if something breaks, okay, just tell us. And then they get a crew out there immediately, because there's like a workman trailer that's just backed up right close to the entrance gate for the actors. They'll just go in there and grab whatever they need, come out and fix it right then and there.
Right. That makes sense.
I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Right. I can understand that.
Now, that being said, I've only worked at one other haunt, so.
Yeah. But still, you've worked at haunts, dude.
Yeah.
Pretty
well,
fun.
I'm going to try to do the Terror Trinity tour. I've already got two of them. Madness and Sydney. I just got to go out to Eagle, Nebraska sometime. I guess they got a bus ride on there I want to check out.
Hey, Wolf, give me just 1 minute. I'm going to be right back. And then I've got a question for you. Okay, I'll be right back.
I may have an answer.
Welcome back. So here's my question for you. Now, you say you've done this for 2 years now. Let me ask you, it seems like a simple question, but I want to get more into it with you because I think it's interesting. What is it, do you think it is about doing the haunt that brings you back to it, right? That makes you so excited to do it? Is it things like just having fun and scaring people? Is it the friends that you make along the way? Is it, what is it for you? Because I imagine for you to come back to this again, and you said you've only done this for 2 years, but I can just hear from talking to you about the level of excitement that you always have for it and the enjoyment that you seem to get from it. It seems like it fulfills something for you, right? Like, what do you think that is?
Well, part of it is everything you just said. I mean, it's scaring people. Stop. Dog is getting ready to bark. She's going to bark as soon as I walk away. It's scaring people. Being able to dress in gross, disgusting costumes and to create said costumes in some cases.
Sure.
Now, Sinister Sydney, they are a family, and Madness said that they are too. Now, a lot of places say that, but they don't act like it.
Right.
Both of these places do. I've known Gravedigger, the owner of Sinister Sydney, for about 7 or 8 years because we shot a show out there once. He's always been cool. Hey, buddy, how you doing? And he was on the radio one night, and I was like, hey, we're going to come down. He's like, you want to act instead? Like, I've never acted in a haunted house. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Well, it was, except I upset my girlfriend because I had been talking about going to a haunted house all week. And last second, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go play at it. She was not happy. And once she explained it, we worked it out, and it's all fine now.
Right.
But when I go out to Sinister Sydney, it feels like a home away from home. Just because, it's like, I know the entire area now.
Right.
I know most of the people, if not all of the people there. I'm not going to say nobody is unimportant, but I know the important people, like the owners and the builders and the management.
So you have like a strong sense of familiarity.
Right. And the family thing, because I'm a very loyal person. And then just like you said, getting to see people and meet people, because one of my best buddies, that's who I met, was out there. And, Elysium, you've seen posts of hers that I posted. She's one of my good friends too. And because of all these people, then I met the scurry face people, and that took it up to another level.
Right.
And then the main reason why I started was because Creature Feature is a great thing. I love doing it, but it ain't going to last forever.
Right.
And there for a while, we didn't know if we were going to come back.
Right.
Because COVID and, Doc's doing his movie and this and that. So it's like, if I want to continue acting or doing stuff, I got to find something that's not related to this. Sure. I want to do something that nobody at Creature Feature is there.
All your own.
Right. And that's exactly what I did. And last year I was out to prove a point, and I proved it. Not being, I'm very humble, and I don't I'm the shit all the time, but I'm going to give myself some props, because going in with that attitude from day one, when the scurry face people came in and I scared the president, then afterwards I was basically just stuck to all of them, just listening. Okay, well, what do you do okay, let's do this. And now I have this knowledge, and I just put it to use. And every day, even now, is something to learn something new. It's like I told them at Madness, I was like, this is like a college course to me. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, this is like a college elective. I'm coming here to learn to do better in the long run overall. They're like, that's a great attitude.
That is a good attitude.
It's how I view it. I'm going there to learn some stuff. They've got some amazing, we do too. Every haunt has amazing actors, but when you can go and work with another haunt and meet and see how some of these people do their thing,
sure,
then do it.
Yeah.
And I did want to prove that to myself, that I can do something outside of Creature Feature and be very successful. And I won Scare of the Year.
So you got a feeling of accomplishment from it.
Right. And it was, I set a goal and I attained that goal. So yes, accomplishment.
Yeah, and a sense of pride, and you're getting a sense of how do you say it?
And it's a little ego shot too. I won't lie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. Because it feels good to feel important sometimes, or it feels good to be noticed by other people,
to be recognized in it.
Right? Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, and then I may have told you this, I don't know, but then I talked to our actor manager and said, hey, because she's doing 4 things. I was like, I can help. I can do that. She's like, okay, you're now the actor manager. I'm like, no, I'm the assistant actor manager. I'm the assistant, because I'm still going to be coming to you with a lot of stuff. And she's like, okay. So now I'm the assistant actor manager at Sinister Sydney. So I want to take more responsibility and get more involved with the behind the scenes stuff too. Because there'd probably be a point where I'm not going to be able to walk around and move like I do.
Sure, of course. Getting older.
Right.
Right. You know, I think what you're talking about, I think you're very lucky. I think you're very fortunate.
I know I'm
And
fortunate.
and the reason is because I think what you've tapped into is what a lot of people out there are either looking for themselves or don't know that they need. And you're getting that socialization, you're getting that ego boost, you're getting that feeling of accomplishment, you know. You're getting all these things that you know, I think a lot of people out there need, but because of the increased isolation that we seem to have in this world, that, you know, not a lot of people do out there. So I think you're very fortunate for that. I think you've tapped into something that's very healthy for you.
Oh, and I've got something healthy for you. Hang on a second.
Excuse me, sir.
Poorly run factory farms. We pump them full of antibiotics and steroids. We eat their children. Did we really believe they wouldn't want bloody revenge? Foul uprising. They'll have you extra crispy.
What a beautiful voice.
Right? I thought you'd like that one. I think this one's the
We
same.
kept them.
Yep.
Where are you getting that from?
I've got it on my phone.
Oh, that's funny.
When you sent me those so I could give to him, I just kept a copy. That trailer should be on that Blu-ray too.
Yeah. I'm sure it is. I haven't actually looked at the Blu-ray yet.
I don't blame you.
But, well, I mean,
I am very lucky in that. I mean, not just that respect, in a lot of respects, but at the same time, it's like 95% of the people I talk to now are haunters as well.
sure. Yeah.
Like you're like one of the only people that I talk to that
This is
isn't
not
a
a haunter.
haunter. Yeah.
I'll haunt your dreams. No,
Oh, behave. But then you said you wanted to, so
well, you know, I would if there was one nearby and I was more mobile and in better health, and
well, next year.
you know, yeah, sure, maybe, yeah, sure.
Next year, because usually when you got to me about a month too late. Because normally most haunts start their build and training in August.
Right. Well, I don't imagine that would be an easy thing to get into out here, just because of the sheer population. You know, I'm sure that's something that a lot of people are wanting to get into.
Hello. Hi. You know that group of okay, we're not going to get political,
Yeah.
but breaking news is the Orange Man was found liable for fraud in New York, and that's all I'm going to say. It just came across the news.
Okay.
That group of people that I work with, that I've been hanging out with and such,
yeah.
all I have to do is say, hey, I have a friend, first year haunter, wants to try, he has some mobility issues, bigger guy, but he wants to work at a haunt. This is where he lives. And if there's one quote unquote in network, then yeah, we'll just be
Then
like,
you will be the man I hit up next year.
because I know where you live, and I do know that there is a haunt that is affiliated with us, or will be us. I'm not even really officially part of the group myself.
Yeah.
But that's affiliated with them, or will be within the next couple of weeks, most likely, because they are planning a trip out there.
Okay.
Scurry Face is going somewhere in California. I just don't remember where.
Right.
I mean, I know that's like saying I'm going to America, because California is big, but
Huge. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get all that worked out next year. But I'm definitely glad you found something like that for yourself. I think that's a very healthy and a very good thing. And like I said, there's a lot of people out there that are just so either isolated or they don't have a large friend group, and it's mostly just, you know, how things are these days with people. And
matter of fact,
I think what you found is a good thing.
one of my haunter friends just posted, "Haunters, a leaf, back, and muscle is a must-have for your gig bag. Shit works wonders." Let's see. I want to, because just because we said something about it, I am curious about the name of that.
Oh, by the way, let me give a quick shout out to Johnny, who's lurking there in the chat. Johnny, hope you're having a good day. He says he's going to start working for Costco at nighttime, being a nighttime stalker. Yikes! That's going to be some fun hours you're going to pull. How are you gonna do that? Work as a night stalker and then take care of the kid during the day. That's going to be tough. But thanks for being here, Johnny. I appreciate it. And it looks like Null No More was here, but then took off, said thanks for the stories, got laundry done, time to do other chores. Thanks a lot, Null No More, who was here earlier, for listening in. Johnny says, I'm laying down next to my son so he stays asleep for his nap. Got it. That's very nice. I used to do the same thing.
How close are you to Valencia?
Oh, that's like... Okay, Google, how far is Valencia from Irvine? Yeah, it's a while. It's
I
a couple
did hear.
hours. It's 75 miles.
No, that's just actually that's about what I drive to go to my haunt.
Yeah, it's different here, man.
I know.
Like 75 miles from here would probably take me 3 hours to get to.
This Saturday,
Sadly enough.
this Saturday, the group of people is going to be in Valencia at a haunt there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there's not a lot of open areas around where I live where I would imagine a good haunt could take place. Not a lot of like big buildings or houses. I mean, I'm sure they exist, but I would imagine they would probably be on the outskirts of the city or of the county where probably there's a little bit more land to play with. But I don't know.
Oh, I just noticed my picture was on there.
I put that up for you.
Let me see. I'm going to look at this now just because
I stole it from your Twitch page.
that's fine.
While you were talking to me, I went over there and stole the picture. Oh, yeah, that's right. Johnny says they have them at malls, from what I remember. Yeah. I've seen that in like abandoned malls and stuff like that where they have haunts. Yeah.
All right,
What?
No, I don't want to use AI Boost.
AI Boost? What the hell?
I just looked up a couple of haunted houses in the Irvine area. I just put haunted houses in Irvine.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in Santa Ana, Westminster, and Mission Viejo.
Okay. That's cool. I used to live in Santa Ana. That was where I was born and raised.
And Trabuco Canyon, Buena Park,
Trabuco.
Fountain,
Yeah.
Laguna Niguel, Garden Grove, Eastvale, Yorba Linda.
So these got to be like small haunted houses, like kind of deals.
Well, the Gershon Dungeon is the one in Santa Ana. It's got 6 stars.
Really?
5 stars.
Send me that info later on. I'll have to go. We might go check that out for some fun. Go to a haunt.
And then Prism has 4.5. It's in Westminster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the area, so I don't know what it's.
It's close. Westminster. It's close. Yeah. Santa Ana's close. Like just a couple miles away.
Yeah.
Tam goes to Westminster on the weekends to get me full.
But yeah, they. I mean, almost every city has something. I mean, even though you might not see it, because a lot of times they'll be like, "Oh, okay, well, we're gonna rent this building from August until like November, December, or even
Right.
well, we'll have to do a 6-month lease." Okay, and they rent it for 6 months, and then they put on their haunt, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Because I've been to ones where it's actually just in a strip mall. They were.
Yeah, I remember seeing those before in the past. I hadn't thought about it until Johnny brought it up. That was smart, Johnny.
They're not always good ones, but
yeah. I haven't been to a haunt in decades.
One of the best ones I went to, and I'm not even sure if it's still open. I'll have to look it up when I get a second here. But There's this place called Dark Armies in Indianapolis,
Hmm.
and it was a giant paintball arena.
Okay.
And it was a warehouse, but they made it look like an old apocalyptic city with actual vehicles in it.
That sounds fun.
And they even tell you, do not step. If we catch you stepping on the vehicles, you're out. You're done. That's it.
Don't be bad.
Because they're so shot up with paintballs that they're almost all rusted through.
Right.
And they'd have little nooks and crannies and this and that. And yeah, well, every October, they take that facility and turn it into an amazing haunted house. I want to say it was called Necromicon or something like that.
It's pretty cool what people can do when they are restricted and have to, be more creative.
And, up until a few years ago, I never even... Necropolis is the name of it.
Okay.
I never thought about going and working at a haunt, so... Yeah, well, their
I would have
paintball
thought that would
center
be
is
something you would
temporarily
have figured out
closed.
before.
Their paintball center is temporarily closed, I think.
Oh no.
Well, it's
What a
probably because
tragedy.
they're getting ready for the haunt. Wait, that says NU paintball. That's
I'm sorry, in who paintball?
like NU, like November umbrella.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying in you paintball. I'm all, excuse me, sir. In who paintball?
All right, let's see. Necropolis. Yep, that's what it is. It's they've got it closed because they're setting up the haunt now. It's called Necropolis Underground. It is one of the coolest ones I had ever been to. Like I said, that was years ago. I mean, I haven't been in
Right.
Indiana in October in at least 5 or 6 years, and even then, it was just a weekend.
It's okay. You're not missing anything.
Right. Well, eventually, the goal is to be one of these people that go to different haunts and gets paid to go to a haunt.
That would be cool. That you're such a favored person that you they start paying you for it. Featured
Well, I mean-
haunter.
Even if it's just, oh, okay, we'll pay for your room. All right. Or, your room and your travel. Perfect. The rest of it, I don't care about. I can get food. That's really the only other thing that I would need if, they got the travel.
Right. They got the travel. You can take care of the food. I don't eat much, sir.
I can't say that anymore. I'm a damn pig, but then like we have some of the scurry face actors. They're doing the Trinity tours. I've been calling it.
Oh yeah. Why do you call it that?
Well, because it's the 3 haunted houses of the Terror Trinity. And if you hit all 3 of them, it's the Trinity tour. And I was talking with one of the people at Madness. So I said, hey, are you guys doing any patches this year? She goes, we're talking about it. I was like, all right, well, if you do, let me know because I'll buy one. I got no problem paying for it. But I want one for my jacket. She's like, all right.
Yeah.
And then I
Something to
said,
remember.
it'd be a great idea to do a Terror Trinity patch and only give those to the people who did all 3.
Ooh.
She's like, that is a good idea.
That'd be very rare.
Right?
Yeah. That'd be very
Well,
cool, man.
I can only think of a handful of people that would do it. Myself, Straps, Bruiser, Thrasher, Wizzo, and Shrek.
Wizzo.
Yeah. Oh, Wizzo's amazing. I know you don't really do Facebook at all, but
Yeah.
he is hilarious. His whole gimmick is he's imaginary.
I
see,
know
this
the
is-
feeling. I know the feeling.
This is why I love all these people and doing all this is because you
A
get
lot of
this
creativity.
creative. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like one of his things is waffles too. Wizzo's waffles.
With Wizzo's waffles.
Yep. And then his girlfriend is actually Shrek, and she's like a little tiny thing. She's just such a sweetheart.
Right.
But she's really good too. She does burlesque, drag shows, and haunting.
Sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like a fun person.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. I can't wait to see her as well because she's going to be tour. She's going to make the Trinity tour as well.
Right. Well, I mean, like I said, you definitely found something, a new niche that you can get some socialization out of at least once a year. You know, and I'm do you ever talk to these people outside of the season or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now, I call her my haunt wifey, but we have a good friend that my girlfriend actually knows as well. She's been to our house a couple of times. I'll talk to her, at least a couple times a month.
Right.
Mike and Lori, I'll shoot them a message or they'll shoot me one occasionally. They're the owners.
Right.
And then my buddy Cody, I'll talk to him. It depends with him because he works as a farmer. So like right now he's probably in a tractor doing stuff.
Doing farming stuff.
Yeah, but like any of my trips to Missouri, I had stopped at his house first because he's right there.
Right.
Hung out with him a little bit. As far as the rest of them, not so much. But like the scary face people, obviously I've talked to all of them out of season because that's what they did off season was do all this. I mean, they basically made it to where Halloween seemed like it lasted all the way up until February or so with their little contest that they have that I am going to enter this year.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. And, I got to go down to Oklahoma because I had talked to some of these people and hung out with them. But then in January, Madness invited everybody to where their haunt is.
Mm-hmm.
Because on their property, it's not actually their property, they're renting. It's an apple orchard and they have a bar and grill there.
Yum.
So we had like a big Christmas party in January.
That's cool.
And then the after party went to Thrasher's house. And Thrasher's mom works there, and I introduced her. She's like, I know who you are. You've been to my house. I was like, I know, but I'm just making sure you remember me. She started laughing. She's like, we're going to get along great. I was like, we better.
Or else.
She's about our age.
Yeah.
Thrasher, like he's a pup. I mean, he's only like mid-20s.
Right.
I'm jealous of him because he's getting into it that early. All these other people are getting into it early, and it's like, here I am having a midlife crisis, apparently.
Well, speaking of midlife crisis or crises, let me ask you a question. This has nothing to do with a midlife crisis. I'm just segueing. Let me ask you
bad
this.
segue.
Bad segue. Can you tell me from this weekend, can you tell me the story of one moment of joy that sticks out for you from this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. When we had family over with Christian's birthday.
Christian is your
stepkid, for lack of a better term.
Right. I see. I know you. Oh, okay. And how old is he? What made it joyful for you?
25. Just seeing the family.
Just being around family, talking to them.
Yeah,
awesome.
Getting to see Cammie's mom, and most people be like, "What?" But her ex-husband.
So was her side of the family?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you get along with them really good.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, most people would be like, "What?" But it was good to see her ex-husband. He's a really good dude.
Yeah. It's Tam has a good relationship with her ex-husband and her ex-boyfriend, a couple of her ex-boyfriends that she lived with, in the past. She has good relationships with them, and I think it's a healthy thing. If you can, why not?
Well, two of my best female friends are chicks that I dated and or boinked. So I mean,
yeah,
Tammy gets a little jealous about the one, but
yeah,
how would you like it if I invited my ex over?
Well,
I'm like,
let's put it like this.
You like this? How would you like it if I invited my ex over? We do all the time.
Yeah, really.
Oh,
Yeah,
but that's his dad. I'm like, yeah, but still, I mean,
still, I know. Tam's ex-husband is an Italian millionaire who owns beach property, and he spends the majority of his time renting his yacht out to. He has a small yacht, renting his yacht out to people to sail them around different parts of the world.
well, damn, she downgraded.
So it's like you talk about like when I first met him and I found out, when Tam and I were first dating, and I found out, she said to me, I have a good relationship with him. Still we talk and I help him out with stuff and he helps me out with stuff and what have you. She's known him, most of her life and what have you. And she never really made me feel jealous about her relationship with him, and I never felt a reason to be. I always thought, well, that's good. I'm glad she has a good relationship with the guy. Obviously, things didn't work out between them because otherwise she wouldn't be with me, But
like I said, talk about a downgrade. Damn.
Hey now.
Hey now. I miss that show.
Hey now. All right. Oh my God, I hated that show so much.
You didn't like Gary Shandling?
Oh, Gary Shandling. I was thinking of what is it? Tool Time or whatever that show was called. Gary Shandling was hilarious.
Yeah, it was that fake talk show, and they had
It's the Gary Shandling Show. Welcome to the Gary Shandling Show. Yeah.
And they had that Jeffrey Combs. Hey now.
Hey now.
Thanks.
Yeah. That was a good show, man.
Was it Rip Torn as the producer?
Oh my God, speaking of shows, because there's like a lack of shows to really watch right now, quality, good shows. Tam and I finished the live action Netflix One Piece series, and she liked it. We both enjoyed it. I had never seen the anime. Obviously, she's never seen the anime or watched any anime.
Yeah.
And then she found out that, or I was talking to her about how, what's her face, the actress from the Halloween movies,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis is.
You like how I knew that immediately?
Yeah, thanks, thanks. Jamie Lee Curtis was a big fan of the anime. In fact, she's been, she said she put out a message basically the other day that said to him, once the strike is over,
which it is,
I'd like to. Well, she's the actor strike. The writer strike might be over, but the actress isn't. But she goes, once the strike is over and we've got a fair deal, I would like to open up negotiations to be a part of the One Piece Netflix series, because she's apparently a super fan of the anime. And so that got Tam interested in watching the anime. I said to her the other day, I said, hey, do you have any interest in watching the anime? Because I've been thinking about watching it. And she goes, yes, actually I was going to ask you if you wanted to. So we're up to like episode 7 right now. Apparently if we watch 5, if the show was to stop today and we watched 5 episodes a day, we would finish the series in 3.5 years.
Jesus.
So we both kind of like decided it's not about getting to the end, it's about the journey. So
there you go.
we've it's about the story, it's about the journey. And so we were like up to episode, I think 7 or 8 right now, and we're having fun with it. And I'm surprised at like how much she's actually enjoying it too. And I think she might even be a bit surprised, about that, because she doesn't have a lot of experience.
That was Tammy with Weeds.
Oh, with Weeds, the TV show?
Yeah. Little houses, made a ticky-tack. That actually surprised me that she actually got into the show, because she's, she's a few years older than me, about your age, but she never really been into cannabis. She's
right.
Her drug of choice back in the 80s was the cocaine.
Johnny says, speaking of animes, I canceled Netflix and subbed to Crunchyroll. That's a good move, man. I used to have a Crunchyroll membership, and then I couldn't afford it, never got it back again. Johnny says, I started Full Metal Alchemist, pretty damn good show. Which Full Metal Alchemist are you watching though? You know, there's two. There's two versions of Full Metal Alchemist. There's Full Metal Alchemist, and there's Full Metal Alchemist, I think it's called Brotherhood, which is just, I think, basically a copy of the first one, but like with changes made in the animation and in the story and stuff like that, I believe. But yeah, I've watched Full Metal Alchemist. It's really good anime. It's a lot of fun to watch. But that's a good move, Johnny. Yeah, I don't have Netflix either. I was only able to watch the One Piece because, well, let's just say I have other means. Without going into details, I have other means of viewing things, which, you know, don't break the bank. Johnny says it's $7.99 a month. It might be Brotherhood. It might be Brother. Let me check. Yeah. Okay, good. I think that's about the only one they show these days. It is Brother. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a lot of fun to watch. And you know, there was a Full Metal Alchemist movie, Johnny. Well, like a live action movie. I don't know if it was made a series, but I know it was made a movie. You should check it out once you're done watching the anime or what have you. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad. But it's what you would expect. But yeah, so I was surprised I got Tam into watching an anime with me, One Piece, and you got to understand, like, well, the surprising thing for me about this is that Tam is very, how should I put this? She's very critical of old styles of anything. So if it's like an old sitcom, it's hard for her to sit through it because they're not as modern as today in the sense of, you know, the acting and the script writing and the production and stuff like that, right? So when we started watching One Piece started 25 years ago, you know, and it's still going on today. So the animation is this cheap Japanese animation, like at least for what I understand, for the first season and that's typical of Japanese anime. Well, I should just say anime studios in their first season is they'll try to, you know, cut as much money as they can, or at least they used to back in 25 years ago. So the first season would always be a cheaper kind of, you know, endeavor, so they could save money in case no one wants to watch it. It doesn't pick up for a second season, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, which is fine. So it's that cheap kind of animation style where you get a lot of static pictures with moving mouths, or static pictures to just move across the screen as they pan.
Well, you know, like South Park, all they did was use construction paper for like the first
right
season, I think.
It's like an old animation, you know, kind of thing that they do to save money, where they just keep the parts that are moving, and they just make everything else static, right? And so there's a lot of that, but she hasn't been critical of it. I'm pretty surprised. She's been enjoying it and having fun. We watched 3 episodes last night. And then it got kind of late, and she was all, you want to watch another episode? I'm all, really? You want to watch another episode? She goes, yeah, let's watch another episode. But I was too tired by then. I was like, honey, I'm too tired. We got to go to sleep. So I was pretty surprised for her. She's enjoying it. But the thing is, I don't know if she's enjoying it or whether, you know, I think it's funny that the reason that she wanted to get into it is because of Jamie Lee Curtis. It's like, so for some reason, that gave her some kind of validity. Yeah, that justified it somehow. That if a big actor like Jamie Lee Curtis is such a huge fan that she's trying to get into the live action show herself, and she's had interviews where she's talked about like the characters and how much she loves the show and things like that, that it surprised her enough to go, maybe I should check this out.
Now, see, I'm the exact opposite. Matter of fact, while you were telling that story, it kind of brought me to a flashback.
What's that?
Well, Omaha is known for a couple of things. Most people, you say Omaha, you think steaks, or you think of a dark and lonesome highway east of.
Right.
But one thing Omaha has a lot of is arenas. We have the CHI or whatever they're calling it, downtown arena.
Mhm.
Then they have the Baxter Arena. Then they have the UNO Arena. And seems like Mid America Center. And these are all like anywhere from 10 or anywhere from 7 to 20,000 seat stadiums,
Right.
all in this little bitty town. So they are constantly trying to find things to fill them up.
Sure.
Well, and actually, I don't even know why I said that, because where this was at was actually a hotel that's no longer around. Used to be this big hotel that had a water slide in it, and they'd always have this convention called NebCon,
Okay.
and it was Nebraska Anime Con, but it was just NebCon. So you have the vendors and people stay in the hotel and people walk around in costume. It's a good time.
Sure.
Well, me and Otis from the show are sitting there one time, hanging out, and there's like about 200 of these little nerds all taped together.
Okay.
And they're all screaming amoeba, amoeba, amoeba. And I'm looking at him, and I look over at Otis. I was like, what is this about? He goes, I don't know, man. This is the weirdest. I've never seen this before.
Like, what is going on?
And they're like trying to go through doorways and stuff, and they can't fit because, like I said, maybe not quite 200, but there's a lot of them. So me, being me, I'm like, an amoeba is a single cell organism, you dumbasses. Like, quit watching your damn cartoons and pick up a book. It's called science. And Mikey or Otis is just losing. He goes, quit watching your cartoons and pick up a book. He's crying, laughing so hard.
Johnny says they used to have food wars Shokugi no Soma on Netflix. I did enjoy that one. Have you seen that one? It's about sushi. Are you talking about the anime? You know, it's amazing to me the tie that food has with anime. A lot of people don't realize, like, a lot of anime.
Not to interrupt you, but I
Yeah.
got to jump off here. So I will say
Okay,
goodbye
well,
for now.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate having you here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be on the chat or whatever, but
All right,
I got to
great.
jump off. I'll talk at you later, brother.
Take
Have
you
a good
later,
night,
buddy.
everybody.
Take you too. Thanks, Wolf. Always good to hear from Wolf. Always good to have him here. The thing about animes, which I was saying, is that it's kind of amazing how much food ties into anime. And the biggest example I can give of that is if you are familiar with like Dragon Ball Z. Now you wonder to yourself, what does Dragon Ball Z have to do with food? Let's look at the character names. You have Kakarot, which is carrot. You have Vegeta, which is vegetable. And you just look at all the names, and you start to realize all the names are associated with food. Then you go to like other animes and you start noticing that like how much they put into showing food, or how much they put into, like, it's really funny. I've seen animes where they have this cheap anime style for like 90% of it, but then they start showing the scene where someone's cooking food, and all of a sudden the animation style gets better for that one scene where they're cooking food, you know? And then now they even have animes that are built around food. I mean, the different types of food, being a chef, being a cook. I think there's one called Food Something or Other. I don't know. It's just really weird, the connection that food has with anime. It's a big thing, apparently. All right, give me a second, guys. I am going to take a quick break. I'll be right back in 1 minute. Hello. Hello. We're back. Get everything straightened out here. Johnny says food, boobs, magic, and martial arts. Right. The essentials of life. Hard to disagree on that. Japanese take food seriously. Yeah, in an odd way they do. I mean, there is a there's definitely a strong tendency towards food in animes. And it's from like top to bottom. It's strange. It's like they never show food in a cheap way. It's always this. I mean, even One Piece, you know, has a character that he is all about food. Like that is his dream in life, is to go to this one place where there is this certain kind of fish that is supposed to be the most delicious fish in the world or something like that. And how he wants to be known for his cooking and what have you. And I mean, even that way it sinks in. So yeah, it's definitely a crazy tie into it for sure. But I enjoy anime, and I'm glad Tam's getting into it with me as well. So you know, it's like I said, we don't have a lot to watch right now. We'll watch Ahsoka tonight, I think, and then probably about 3 or 4 episodes of One Piece. I mean, they're only we're back. Did you lose me? What happened, Johnny? What do you mean we're back? Johnny's all, we're back. Come on, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah, you're seeing me come back from the bathroom. Okay. What says, I just saw Doc change his cover photo on the Book of Faces. Larry photobombed him. I don't know if you noticed. Represent! You know, I tell people this is a picture of Dr. Sanguine and Wolfman. Just start telling people that you're on a t-shirt. Just tell them you're the skeleton. Wolf says I did first thing. Yeah, that was smart. Johnny says every anime must have a food scene. It's in the contract. You would think so. Seem to. I don't know. You know, it's a cultural thing, obviously, but it's just funny. It's like they have a whole anime over a school, a culinary school. There's an anime about a culinary school. There's an anime about a boy who finds himself in a magical land where he is trying to find new foods to make, and he like conquers these beasts and use them to make his next meal and stuff like that. It's crazy, like how much they get into food. Wolf says, I watched VeggieTales once. A cucumber quoting Bible verses was just too much. I get it. I get it. It's understandable. That could be hard to deal with for sure. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm done for the day. I'm going to call it quits. It's been fun. It's been real talking to you guys. I'll be back on Thursday talking to y'all. Hopefully we can get some more people. I'm still trying to get to a later timeline. I have not solved my chair and table problem yet. I'm still working on it, but you know, hopefully I'll get to a later show time so we can get some more people in here. It'd be nice. Anyway, everybody, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for joining. Have a good night, everybody. Remember, between now and the next time I see you, make sure you go out there and commit a little kindness, okay? Have a good night, everybody, and I'll talk to y'all later.